new jobs coming up. And we are now in the era of Industry 4.0. That is the Industry 4.0. And currently we're asking ourselves, yes, we're living in the future of work. We already are living in the era of Industry 4.0. So we can be able to see that we've walked the journey from the era of the STEM engine to now living in the era of emerging technologies and looking at how are they shaping our way of lives, and specifically for today's conversation on how are we shaping the labor workforce and how we get to work. And so basically that has been the journey, and it's quite an exciting future based on where we've come from, where we are, and what the future has to offer.
But when you talk about an exciting future, and I was going through a report by the World Economic Forum for in the year 2021, they were talking about 85 million workers being replaced by artificial intelligence and other emerging technologies in the next 5 years. Now we are looking at about 3 years from now. So these 85 million workers who are going to be replaced, why is it an exciting time for them actually?
Great. From the history that we've walked from the STEM engine to the Industry 4.0, there was that perception that all these revolutions were going to cause displacement of jobs and people are going to lose jobs. But in real sense, in all these phases, we've seen a lot of creation of jobs, a lot of employments, and that's why we've seen a lot of changes in terms of traditional roles getting redefined, emergence of new roles. And in this era of artificial intelligence, there's the worry, there's the anxiety that is artificial intelligence and all these emerging technologies, innovations, are they coming to replace us? But one thing you've got to realize is that also a projection by World Economic Forum is that by 2025, artificial intelligence and all these other emerging technologies, they're coming in to create more jobs vis-a-vis the number of jobs that they're going to replace. And by that I mean, currently, we mentioned that we're already living in the future of work. And currently, we're already experiencing what we call augmented intelligence, in that artificial intelligence is coming in to complement the work. It's coming in to help us automate those mundane and those routine tasks, be it scheduling meetings and all that. And more to that, it means that as employees, we're more productive, we're more engaged, and we're more effective in our work. And there's the worry on, is artificial intelligence coming in to replace our work? One thing we have to understand is that artificial intelligence, as much as it's bringing in, promising a lot of benefits, is that it does not have what we call the emotional intellect or the human understanding aspect. Artificial intelligence, and that means that we need to have human beings complementing these softwares. We're already even experiencing robots that are human reception, that are taking up the roles of receptionists. But we'll still need human beings to take up that human element and the human understanding element to guide these applications, to guide these AI-driven solutions. Well, to put it in more clarity, is that AI is coming in to help us improve our work, improve our productivity, make us to ensure that we're more effective in our work, and above all, coming in to complement our work, but less of replacing us. Change of new jobs coming up, and that's why there's need for us to evolve and adapt. But AI is coming in to complement us, to make sure that we're more effective and more effective in our work, and more productive.
You're talking about technology creating more jobs than jobs that are going to be lost, and you're talking about 85 million jobs that are going to be lost. And the same report by World Economic Forum was talking about 97 million new jobs to be created by technology by the year 2025. We are about two and a half years away from that. Which are these jobs that are going to be lost?
Great, that's a great question. If we talked of these redundant and sort of traditional roles, good examples are we've had the human who play the role of receptionists in other areas such as the HR, human relations in terms of recruitment, in terms of also how we engage our workforce. We're also looking at traditional roles such as the bookkeeping. Would go on and on, maybe in areas of content writing. And other, basically most...
Even newscasting, like the one I'm doing here.
Absolutely.
There's a newscaster robot in South Korea called Kim.
Yes, so for those traditional roles, we're getting to find that most of them are becoming redundant because artificial intelligence is coming in to automate most of these tasks so that the human beings can focus on the human aspect, on the strategic aspect of these roles. So those are some of the roles that are becoming obsolete. And when we talk of creation of new roles, AI is coming into, there's a huge demand for digital and data-driven opportunities. I'm a data scientist, and one of the top in-demand skills right now for anyone across the globe is artificial intelligence and artificial intelligence skills, and there's that push for almost everyone of us to be data literate. So there's a rise in demand for data professionals, from data analysts, data scientists, who can help us to distill insights from all the data that we're generating. So I would say there's a shift from traditional roles with the rise of automation and artificial intelligence, and there's creation of new emergent roles, more so data-driven roles that are quite high in demand. Yes, and we would go on and give various examples, because even in manufacturing, we're getting to see a lot of manual roles getting replaced with robots coming in, and at the same time having human beings still taking the role of leading these artificial intelligence solutions. So we'd go on and give as many examples as we can in the different areas, different sectors. And also in terms of the roles that are getting redundant and new roles that are emerging. Yes.
Global consulting firm McKinsey estimates that by the year 2027, the work ratio for human beings and robots will be about 50-50, whereby human beings will account for 50% of global jobs, and technology, this is artificial intelligence, robots and humanoids, will account for the 50% of the others. And so are we likely to see more and more people getting redundant, and are we likely also to see more people joining the unemployment market?
Great, that's a great question. As we mentioned, part of the things that we talked about on living the current future of AI, we talked of, we're now in the experiencing augmented intelligence. This is where now human beings are getting to work hand by hand, getting to pair with artificial intelligence so that they can guide these applications in the automated tasks. We are still yet far away from getting to a level where artificial intelligence will purely replace human beings. That's what we call artificial superintelligence, a level where artificial intelligence will take control of almost every task, be able to perform it better than a human being. So we are yet to even get there, but there are already milestones that have been made in terms of the applications that have even been made from the ChatGPT and other applications, and even also the investments from the various sectors, be it the workforce, the government. So we would say that we're making great strides towards that direction, but we are yet to get to a level where artificial intelligence applications will solely take over the world, basically controlling the whole world without human intervention. We are yet to get there, and that's why there are a lot of concerns, because again, artificial intelligence is coming in as a double-edged sword. Yeah. There's the promising benefits that we're already living in, and also building towards that AI-powered future workforce. But at the same time, AI is also bringing in regulatory, ethical, and other challenges. We've had cases, we gave a good case example of artificial intelligence automating HR operations in terms of recruitment, and HR analytics, that being the one aspect of the good benefit of AI. But at the same time, we're experiencing challenges such as racial discrimination and also discrimination when it comes to the recruitment, even with these applications. So to narrow down, AI coming in as a double-edged sword with both benefits and challenges around the same. We're already in the era of weaponization across social media. We've even currently we're talking of fake videos, and already currently we're having discussions around videos that we cannot be able to tell whether they are real or fake. In artificial intelligence, we have a technology called deepfake technology. So, well, I would say that as we move forward into the future, we yet to get to a level where artificial intelligence will fully take over. That is at the level now where we have artificial superintelligence. But as we move and build towards having AI-driven solutions that will help us be more productive and effective in our businesses, we're looking at what are the negative implications and how can we be able to control and mitigate that. Yes.
Well, if you're just joining us, we're talking about the future of work. the jobs that are at risk. And you have just missed a very interesting beat whereby we were talking about numbers. And Kennedy Wangari is a data scientist working with the United Nations. And this is what we are concluding here, or this is what we are trying to say, that more and more jobs are going to be taken over by machines and artificial intelligence. And so it calls upon you to upskill, reskill, and even if the need demands, you change your career at this point, at this time and point. Because we're talking about by the year 2025, 83 million jobs will be lost to humanoids, robots, and even artificial intelligence. But in the same breath, 97 million jobs will be created. This is according to the World Economic Forum. And so you need to ask yourself, am I safe in my workplace? How is this disruption going to affect me? Am I going to be rendered irrelevant at my workplace? This is the kind of conversation that we're having here. I told you in the great company of Kennedy Wangari. He's a data scientist working with the United Nations. And I'm about to ask him which jobs are at risk. Answer that question.
Great. Most of the roles that do not involve the human creativity, again, we mentioned that AI, artificial intelligence, doesn't have that emotional or abstractive level of general intelligence to tell whether true or false. It makes its decision based on the data that's been fed to. So for roles that do not have that, don't mainly involve the creative aspect or problem solving that requires a human being, they're at the risk of getting faced with, because...
Which roles are these, for example?
Well, we could expound further on the traditional or the roles that have been there that we gave examples of, even in areas of HR, in areas of medication, in the healthcare space, how we've been treating and handling our patients. We're now changing with the era of telemedicine and other AI-driven innovations in the healthcare space. If you look at the transport sector, how we've been handling, whether it's the delivery of goods, there's a lot of change that's coming in with automobile and artificial intelligence. Again, we gave examples in the human resource space, how it's coming in to revolutionize and automate the HR operations, and gets to a level that if a HR personnel is not data savvy in terms of HR analytics, their role sort of becomes obsolete.
So you're saying that one of the jobs that is it's the highest risk of being taken over by machines and AI is human resources.
That's one of the roles that's experiencing quite great innovations in terms of how we handle the recruitment, how we engage, how we retain our workforce. It's an area that has experienced a lot of innovations, and also another great area has been the banking and the finance industry that has also experienced quite a lot of artificial intelligence innovations, and also the disruption on the workforce.
Before you continue, so what is your advice to your cousins, your brothers, your sisters, your uncles, your friends, or to your peers who are planning to take a course in human resources and the finance field? What are you advising them?
Great. We're living in a data-driven world, and almost every sector, from HR to legal to transport, name them, almost every field, we're generating data, and we have different roles. And I would encourage as many of us to be quite aware of the emerging technologies, to be aware of the limitations and the capabilities of these technologies, and above all, to step up, to upskill themselves, to explore training and training programs that are available, so they can be able to bridge that skills gap. Because I would prefer to hire a HR professional who is data savvy, who is literate in data, who understands maybe HR analytics, versus just a HR professional who's just graduated from school and has no understanding of how to work with data, maybe be it people analytics. So for me, would be to encourage almost every one of us to leverage the opportunities that are there. There are already government initiatives. There are already also other programs that the Office of the Data Commissioner, it's partnering with UN and other parastatals and other organizations. Take up those opportunities from the digital literacy programs. Upskill yourself. There are great opportunities in that you'll be able to tap into, and this means you'll be able to adapt and thrive with the future, because we're already living in the future and we're making the future more productive and more efficient. So you either adapt and change, or you be obsolete and shape out. Yes.
What is your advice to people who are watching us? They believe and they think that we look good and we are talking good, and they want to be news anchors.
Great. Personally,
is there any future in what I'm doing?
Personally, I had a dream of becoming, of joining media and journalism. And I would say there's a future, a promising future in the news, journalism and media industry. There are those human crucial skills, human skills that we talked of, that's problem solving, critical thinking, those human skills that an artificial intelligence solution cannot be able to possess, because again we talked of an AI system just can't be able to have an abstractive knowledge. Those crucial skills will still be valuable in the commercial world.
But we are seeing, and I was giving you a case of the robots that anchoring news in countries like South Korea. They can smile, they can frown, but you know, they have to be controlled by human beings at the end of the day.
Absolutely, and that's why there's need for us to polish those human skills, because at the end of the day we'll still have these innovations taking up those traditional roles and automating most of our tasks, but we'll still need the human beings to curate them, even if it's maybe working with a ChatGPT or these other AI innovations. We'll still need someone to guide these applications, because one challenge we've had with these AI-driven solutions is that at times, even working with ChatGPT, be it if you want to generate a news item, you'd realize that at times it's not accurate. It gives you inaccurate output. It probably maybe spreads misinformation. So there'll still be need to have human beings with those human skills to guide these solutions. And even probably even when we get to the level of the future where we're thinking of artificial superintelligence, a level where AI will take over human beings, we'll still be at a level where we'll still have some control, because we've seen the dangers of having artificial intelligence solutions that getting out of control of human beings. So we'll still need those as human beings, be it in the media, to polish those human skills, because at the end of the day, there are those roles that we can automate and there's what we cannot automate. Yes.
You see, the fact of the matter is, as technology evolves, some tasks and some aspects of our jobs become obsolete. It becomes unnecessary. Yes. It is replaced by more polished tasks, more polished assignments, and so forth. And I want you to be very honest, Kennedy, and I want you to look at the next 10 years. And I want you to tell us which jobs are likely to be obsolete in the next 10 years.
In my own view, I would say almost every industry right now is generating data. We're already at a level where we're exploring potential use cases, be it in the media, be it in agriculture, be it in healthcare, how we can solve the pertinent or the social economic problems that are there, how we can automate our workflows at the businesses level, how we can improve productivity on our employees. And I would say almost every field will experience the disruption. That's why there's need to ensure. I wouldn't exactly give any specific industry or any specific role, because provided that in whichever sector you're in, you're generating data. We're now at a level, again, we've walked the journey. We're now at a level where we have infrastructure, we have resources that we can help us now to generate insights from our data. So that means we'll be exploring ways to automate, to make our work more effective in almost every field. And I would give examples of about 3 fields that we're already experiencing great benefits of artificial intelligence. That's the healthcare space. We've already seen a lot of transformation in terms of how we treat patients, how we get treatment, the banking sector, the transport sector. So I would say I wouldn't exactly give any specific industry, but my clarion call would be if you're in a field that's generating data or you work with data, there's need for you to be data literate, explore training programs, bridge the skills gap, and explore how now you can use your skills to solve the challenges that you have in data-driven ways, because we have the capacity in terms of skills. The programs are coming up. We have computation power now, and we have a lot of investment from both state and non-state factors. So almost every sector, absolutely, I would say so. Yeah.
I've been to places whereby from reception, you're welcomed. This is a hotel. Yes. You're welcomed by a robot. Tells you welcome. You just need to key in a few details about your booking, and then it is going to direct you to a room number. It is also going to, the moment you get to the room, you'll find another system that is going to tell you breakfast is this time. If you want assistance, just dial this number, and so much. And I have seen a situation whereby in the hotel industry, or in the hospitality industry, you find that the level of human interaction has been reduced significantly, to a point whereby your interaction could be about 40%. The rest is being done by machines. So which are the 5 courses that are going to attract, or that are going to be in high demand, you know, as we face disruptions by artificial intelligence and humanoids and robots?
Great. If I understood your question, by courses you mean programs? Yeah. Or well, even locally, we've already seen organizations from academia already taking up understanding that gap, and stepping up to bring up a master's and also degree programs. We have Strathmore with a master's program in data science and analytics. We've JQuat also with a degree, a 4-year bachelor's program. We also have boot camps and also lots of conversations. Even at a government level, we have the Office of the Data of the Data Commissioner and other initiatives ongoing. So basically, I would say there are a lot of opportunities that anyone could tap into. You could take up bootcamp programs. We have likes of Moringa School and other bootcamp programs that are offering courses that anyone from any field, if you can be able to build up your skills in data science, in data analytics, and you're empowered to be data literate. There are also online programs. Personally, I've never stepped into a school or a formal class to study artificial intelligence. Possibly maybe sometime later this year. I'll be embarking for my master's at the University of Edinburgh. But I've been able to capitalize on online resources such as Coursera, Udemy, Udacity. So I would say there are also online programs that and courses that someone can also leverage on to bridge the gap and learn the skills, apply the skills in their day-to-day job. And also formal programs locally, abroad. They're limitless options, I would say. The goal is to explore a program or a training course that suits your demand and learning objectives. Maybe let's say if you from finance, maybe you're a statistician, you could leverage some financial data literate courses that are in alignment with your area of work that suits your objectives, and take up the course, learn the skills, apply the skills in your day-to-day job.
Very well, Kennedy. And I want to put this into perspective. You see, journalism is a field of highlighting the ills, the positives, the negatives happening in our societies, and of course bringing to the fore the challenges we face. And in the same breath, we have to seek solutions We have to talk to experts so that they can highlight some of the solutions that are around us. Kennedy, a data scientist, is talking about some of the jobs that are at risk in the next 5-10 years. And he's also giving us a sneak preview of the jobs that you need to survive in the future. And now he's about to dig deep into that. You've talked about some programs that people can undertake to reskill, to upskill themselves. And I want you to take your time and explain to people. You've talked about some courses, online courses that one can take, and to bring yourself up to speed with the changing trends. I want you to talk about those online courses that one can take at the comfort of their house.
Oh, great. Besides my day-to-day job as a data scientist at the United Nations Environment Program, I'm also a tech community builder. And by that means, I engage, I support, and work with developer communities. That's the tech-based communities within Kenya. And part of our work for the last 2 years has been to seeking out training and educational opportunities for underprivileged Kenyans and within Africa to take up to learn data science and machine learning and these emerging technologies. So we've been able to provide so far 6,000 scholarships for learners to with 1 year free data camp scholarships on data camp. That's one data camp is an online boot camp program. And also at Coursera, we will be rolling out free 1 year scholarships. And why I'm sharing this is because we'll be calling out in the next month of May for this year's cohort batch of application. That's a great opportunity for Kenyans to take up this opportunity. We're offering 1 year free data scholarship for the learners to upskill themselves on Coursera and Data Camp. We already have ongoing cohorts of learners from 2020, 2021, 2022, and now this year. So Coursera and Data Camp are quite some of the ideal educational partners, educational tech companies that we've partnered with. There are also programs with Udacity. They also provide scholarships similar to what we've been able to partner with Coursera and Data Camp. They also offer target scholarships to the African continent and underprivileged communities. We also have many others, such as Pluralsight partnering with Google. But I think for me, I would emphasize more on Coursera because I'm actively involved and I've seen the benefit. I've seen testimonies from the community of learners that we have, how they've been able to upskill themselves and get jobs and improve in their areas of work, and how I've also grown through those communities. So we have more opportunities coming up through Coursera, Data Camp. But again, for those, there are also other unlimited opportunities. Someone can take up Udacity, explore their data science and data analytics courses and programs. Someone can check up Pluralsight. There's also Udemy. When it comes to online, I would say the unlimited alternatives per se. But for me, in the community that we lead and work with, I've always been a key advocate of Coursera and Data Camp. They have impacted me, they've impacted the community we lead, and we also have more opportunities, and even also the government. I think in 2020, 2021, the government of Kenya through the Ministry of ICT also partnered with Coursera, basically to provide more opportunities for people to learn. So I think there are a lot of other online learning platforms, but I'm hoping that we'll have more people get to benefit as we roll out this year's 1 year free scholarship, so that we can have more people learn data science, learn machine learning, learn these emerging technologies, they be data fluent, and they're able to improve on their businesses and their work, their data-driven decision making, and above all, to remain competitive in this evolving space.
There are also online courses that you know, as a young person, you can undertake. You don't have to be a young person, I mean. You can undertake to reskill yourself, to upskill yourself. What are some of these courses?
I'll give examples from Coursera. One key specialization. When it comes to Coursera courses, they have specializations, which is a group of a number of courses that are related to a certain subject. Career success specialization, it's one of the programs at Coursera. It's one of the best courses when it comes to professional development, when it comes to training you on how to handle projects, how to prepare for, to kickstart, to have a successful career, how to outline your roadmap. So I would say career success specialization amongst other programs comes in quite handy when it comes to upskilling yourself. There are also courses on project management that also comes in handy because, again, in almost every industry that involves work, you'll have to handle projects, manage them and deliver them in time. So project management specialization also on Coursera, to me, has been quite pivotal in terms of the skills impacted and how I've been able to leverage on the skills in my day-to-day. So I would give two case examples of those two specializations on Coursera. Career success specialization on Coursera, basically setting you on an outline on your career, how to prepare for a career in this highly evolving modern workspace, what kind of non-technical skills, in this case, the soft skills, do you need to gain? So that specialization basically prepares you to understand what skills do you need to gain from negotiation, improving your art of communication, how to handle projects. So those two specializations, that's project management specialization and career success specialization, I've come to find them quite great resources when it comes to upskilling anyone from any industry and also preparing them for if they're transitioning to more highly dynamic and evolving, demanding roles. Considering now we're in the data-driven era, I think I would vouch for those two specializations. They have about each 6 and 5 courses, so that's about 11, yeah.
And when you look at institutions of higher learning, I'm talking about universities, colleges, as well as TVET. Are they adapting to these new realities that some of the courses or some of the programs being undertaken by young people now are likely to become irrelevant in the next 5-10 years?
Great. That's a great question and also a key concern, because one thing we understand is most, if not all, our institutions conduct curriculum review periodically. I think I would talk of maybe JQuat takes about 3 years. But again, we're talking of what's trending now in terms of innovations. Let's say maybe we're currently in April. By the time we get to December, we'll have probably something more advanced. And the challenge we have when it comes to the curriculums and adopting these emerging technologies has been, there's been rigid systems that we have, honestly speaking, from the institutional level and also at the government level, to adopt these emerging, to be aware that we have these emerging technologies and there's need for us to adapt. So there are already institutions that are making great strides. We gave examples of Strathmore in JQuat already implementing these data science and analytics master's and degree level programs. But I believe we can borrow notes from those institutions and see how can we accelerate the pace of adoption of these emerging technologies. Today we're talking of automation, we're talking of how artificial intelligence is shaping the future of workforce. Can we be able to curate together, can we be able to bring together programs that we can integrate into the classroom so that the learners can be aware of these emerging technologies and from a point of and be able to learn the skills and have that exposure. So I believe if we're able to have more refined processes that ensure there's fast update of curriculums, and at the same time, there's also goodwill from the government. That has also been another challenge in terms of adoption of these programs and even artificial intelligence systems. A good example is when there was a proposal a few years ago to have an AI system that's powered by blockchain, an AI electro system powered by blockchain to have in the run-up to the 2022 elections. But because of the legislation and politics a bit being not in good terms, or fearing or having worries of artificial intelligence and all these technologies. That's why I feel there's need to have that goodwill so that we enforce legislation and we make sure that we're able to have, because it's very easy for a lecturer to put together curated content and have it to share with their students. But it's another thing to have the school and the policy framework on how we implement these emerging needs in a very fast way into our curriculums, and also emphasizing our learners, and at the same time also the goodwill support from the government. So if you're able to overcome these hurdles, I think it will be easier, because once probably you give someone a test share of what is artificial intelligence in the classroom, they'll be able to take up from there and go learn on their own. But if they never get to even have exposure of that in the classroom, by the time they're graduating is when they're coming to realize, well, we have something we call artificial intelligence. How I wish I would have learned this and integrated with my coursework. So the already institutions are doing great work and great strides, but at the government level and at the ministerial level, how can we minimize all these bureaucracies, make sure that we're periodically able to update our curriculums? China is doing a great job on that from at grassroots level, how they teach their kids, how they expose them. We're not doing badly off. We've introduced the coding curriculum last year into the Kenyan syllabus. But up to now, have we had any implementation? Probably maybe one school that I've been involved with. So that aspect of ensuring that there's goodwill, there's proper, minimize the bureaucracies and ensure that even the institutions are encouraged to adopt and move with the pace of the tech, I believe will help almost every one of us to be aware of these emerging technologies, their limitations, their benefits, and play their role. Yeah, from there.
Very good. I mean, we're having a great conversation here on the future of work with a data scientist in the name of Kennedy Wangari. He works with the United Nations Environmental Program. He's also a data enthusiast, and he's joining us here so that he can explain to us, where is the workplace going? Are we likely to have a situation whereby in the future our workplaces will have robots, humanoids and machines, doing the work that we are doing now? There is a possibility that is likely to happen. But of course, as Kennedy is saying, you're not expected to see a situation whereby all jobs, all tasks and assignments will be handled by computers and robots. There will still be human interactions in many places, and of course at every juncture. And so that's why we're having this conversation, so that you can upskill yourself and even reskill. That's why this is a great conversation here, because it is happening now, and it is the causes. We're also talking about the causes of the future. You're watching Biz Check. We're live from Broadcasting House. We want to go to the Tamarind Hotel, where the Education Committee of the National Assembly is meeting members of meeting experts from the educational field, and they are talking about exam management here in Kenya. Let's first of all listen in.
High-stake assessments. And examination cheating does not come as a surprise to a reputable institution such as NEC, for the reason being that NEC enjoys the monopoly of the assessment process with almost unquestioned authority. We have got institutions which have almost unquestioned authority. And I cite another example. If the Kenya Civil Aviation Authority tells us that the airspace is not safe, you are not going to question it. There is almost a certain unquestioned authority about it. But today, if I rose to say that the Kenyan economy will grow by 12%, you'll be like, who are you to tell us about such? So NEC also enjoys that kind of monopoly in terms of these technical capacities. And I want to illustrate an example that if you went to a health facility and the clinical officer, or rather the doctor who is to observe you, sends you to the laboratory and prescribes that you need to, a test on malaria should be conducted on you. And the lab technologist asks you to give saliva. Even if you didn't go through a medical school, you will begin to question what is happening. Because decisions can only be made around if you use the right tools to measure. And so where you've got institutions with unquestioned authority, where they are discussing matters that seem to be so complex for everybody to comprehend, how sure are we that we are using the right measures? These are some of the questions to ask ourselves. The confidence that you have in that hospital is on the fact that if you went to test malaria from laboratory A and you went to laboratory B, you'll get the same results. And so from where I sit, my question is, if you did this assessment with NEC and it was administered by another independent authority, will they arrive at the same score? That is what you call reliability, and the decisions made are what we call validity. And I want to illustrate why this is a question of public interest. I want to pick a quote from the CS when he was releasing the results. This is what he told us. In 2022, 17 subjects recorded a significant improvement in performance compared to 11 subjects that recorded a significant improvement in 2021. There was no significant change in performance in 4 of the subjects offered in 2022 examination. Now my question is, from where I sit, this process of assessments, how can you determine if there is an improvement or there's no improvement where you're dealing with the different cohorts and you are using different measures? Because for a research process, what gives you reliability is your ability to pre-test and keep on testing the tool. But we can't do that in national examinations. Why? You cannot conduct a pilot of KCSE because the same population that you will have to conduct the pilot on is still the same population that needs to sit for the exam. And so if you understand the technical rigor that comes with this process, they tell you that national assessments in themselves are also supposed to have embedded pilot mechanisms in them. And one of the things they do is that they don't process all the assessment questions. So you cannot tell us that, yes, we processed everything that we had, because there is the question of the rigor and the reliability and the validity of the tool. These are some of the questions that perhaps we need to understand from the Kenya National Examination Council in terms of its processes. And Honorable Chair, as now I situate what for me I consider to be the biggest problem in our assessment, this is what I have to say. That the above statement by the CS, it on the surface can actually be left to pass. But deeper inside, to psychometricians and assessment experts, this is worth interrogating. NEC has only licensed learning institutions, which are schools, as examination centers. Because every school in Kenya has got 3 registrations. You are a learning institution, you are an examination center, and maybe you have a TSC code, or you don't have if you are a private school. So there is also something to do with, does a school have to be an examination center? Because this goes to the heart of the structural challenges that NEC is facing because of the complexities of the logistics involved. We don't have adequate staff, so we have to rely on schools as examination centers, and at the same time we also have to rely on the infrastructure of the teachers to set, to moderate, to assess, and even to mark, which definitely introduces the element of conflict of interest. Because people feel so much attached to their schools. This is my school, what will happen if children don't pass? And when you sit around, and let me just therefore summarize what I've put there. What happens in the process of NEC is that they have got people who support them to design the tests, who are teachers. And these people, they are not picked from anywhere. You not go to Malaba constituency and go to Kuvasali and get as a teacher from there who is part of those people who are setting assessments. No. It is a few people who will be setting these assessments. And there's a human nature of what will happen. And that's why it is not surprising to us second term and third term. You will see people moving in this country in the name of, I am going to train them on how to answer examination questions. They are the chief examiners. They are the people who set exams. Therefore, it's not very, very difficult for these people to provide a leeway of how you need to answer questions. So what therefore happens to schools which have got no exposure to this kind of pricey or even premium services? Because you need to ask the question of, are our assessments measuring intelligence or are they measuring exposure to content? And in all fairness, the examinations in this country are assessing your exposure to content. That is why if you have not completed the syllabus, you will fail. That's why if you don't revise for exams, you will fail. So it's not a matter of intelligence, because as a matter of intelligence, you need to remove all the extraneous variables. And the residual value remaining is purely your intelligence. But the NEC exams can't do that, because it's a convolution of both norm as well as criterion referenced. So you can't tell what it is. And there are certain questions which this committee, in my humble opinion, I would request that you ask NEC. As far as fundamentals of our assessments are concerned, why 30 plus examination papers to a KCSE candidate? What is so fundamental about 30 papers? What is...
Well, those are educational experts meeting members of the Education Committee of the National Assembly to discuss the management of exams here in Kenya. This is coming at a time when a lot of questions are being raised in and outside the government in regard to the performance and to the management of the 2022 national exams. Remember, this is an ongoing debate and Parliament is probing how the exams were managed. Well, away from management of exams, we're also talking about management of jobs, the jobs of the future. Who is at risk and how do you need to upskill and reskill yourself? Kennedy Wangari is a data scientist. He's in studio with us. We have been with him for the last 45 minutes, I guess. We're now almost winding up so that we can also get into the other topic of the day. And now, Wangari, from where you sit or from where you stand, paint to us how the future workplace will look like. Are we likely to have a situation whereby you have 20% human beings, 40% robots and humanoids, and then 20% artificial intelligence? Is that a likely mix?
That's a great question. Based on the current benefits that we've already experienced of artificial intelligence and the promising future that we're building towards, one is that we'll continue to experience more rise of what we defined as augmented intelligence, in that human beings will continue to work side by side with these AI-driven applications. As human beings will take care of the strategic, the entrepreneurial, the creative aspect of guiding these applications. The applications now will be able to handle the automation aspect of the routine tasks, and with a much accurate precision. So we'll get to experience more collaboration of artificial intelligence and human beings. As we move forward into the future, as automation, as AI continues to create more jobs, to redefine some of the traditional jobs that we highlighted, and having more people shifting from those occupations to the new roles, we'll get to experience a more in-demand need for the skills. Again, we're already experiencing now people having the need to have to bridge the gap. So we'll have a more increased technology skills gap. And that's why there'll be need for people to take up the programs. That's why even institutions are now tailoring programs. So there'll be need for those skills by both the learners in school and employees in the workforce to upskill themselves, to adapt so that they're able to improve their productivity. We'll also get to experience, and we're already even experiencing it, there's a rise of new startups. There's a rise of new enterprises. We're already seeing companies that are coming up that are leveraging on these innovative AI applications. A good example is the ChatGPT. You'll have an innovative idea and you're able to build a startup based on the ChatGPT and fine-tune it to your own product. We're already seeing startups and businesses in Kenya and even globally getting to even receive investment and funding. So we'll get to see more rise of startups, more rise of enterprises that are leveraging on these AI innovations to improve how we work. We'll also get to we're also getting to see, and probably also a projection into the future. There's a huge concern now on diversity and inclusion when it comes to workplaces. We're already seeing a rise of development of the co-working spaces. We're getting to have almost in every setting a conversation around how do we ensure we have a diverse workforce. We have used these AI applications to help us source scout and screen the best talent. We've brought them on board. How do we make sure we're able to take care of their diverse backgrounds and their needs? So there'll be concerns around increase on diversity and inclusion in the workplaces, from even how these collaborative workspaces are being built to ensure that there's that creativity. And I think another projection into the future would be AI will continue to take its role in solving some of these pertinent problems that we have had, be it social, economic problems. In the workforce area, we'll get to see more improvement on our workflows, our processes, and even also we've talked of the workspaces, ensuring that they're more inclusive and fostering creativity and innovation. And I think all these are just some of what I would paint a sort of a future into where we headed to. Again, day in, day out, AI is giving us new dimensions, new concerns to work on. And I think if you're able to mitigate the concerns around biasness and the new emerging issues on data privacy, to make sure that even the sensitive data, be it from corporate, be it employees' data, as we move forward, we're going to ensure that we're taking care how sensitive and secure are we as we move forward. So as we look into what I would presume as the future and where we are at, I think we'll also experience a lot of developments on mitigating some of these challenges, so that by the time even getting to a level where artificial intelligence takes full control, or probably maybe a human being now maybe takes a 10% control and AI takes 90%, we'll have mitigated some of these huge concerns on data privacy, security concerns. We'll have made more investments on our people in terms of their skills, in terms of the workplaces, in terms of also innovations, and we'll have solved most of our problems from a societal and economic point of view. So I think we're making strides one day at a time. There are concerns, there are challenges. There's a promising future, but for us to get there and to achieve more of what we've already achieved now, there's the concerns, the issues that we have on the side. So I believe if we're able to adapt, we're able to change, we're able to, each and every one of us play their role, from upskilling themselves to mitigating the issues that are there. I think we'll all be able to live in an AI-powered future, well, with probably maybe 90% control being taken over by machines and automation, and the human element probably now taking up the 10% and to focus on other important things.
Very good. Kennedy, thank you very much for joining us. We are with you in the long term, and of course we'll be inviting you so that you can clearly track our movements and our progress as we huddle down to the future. Your time is highly appreciated, and of course your input. Asante sana for joining us on Biz Check, and have yourself a beautiful afternoon.
Great.
And continue enjoying your morning.
Great. Thank you so much for having me. It's always an honor to share and have discussions around tech-related discussions and how we can empower people, how we can build towards the future. And it's always an honor to be here. And thank you so much. And also to our viewers, let's each and every one of us take up their role, from the government, the employers, employees, educational institutions. Let's step up, let's play our role, let's adapt, and let's change and work towards ensuring that we reap the full benefits of this highly evolving workforce of the future. And thank you so much.
The point is home. Asante sana. You see, the key takeaway this morning is adapt, innovate, reskill, and upskill. And again, sit down and ask yourself, am I placed in the right place job-wise? Do I have the necessary core competencies to help me adapt to the rapidly changing work environment? That is a question that you need to ask yourself. You're watching Biz Check, and of course we are live from Broadcasting House. Karim Montasen is a country manager for Puma as well as Adidas. He's also an SME expert. He'll be joining us next as we look into the issues around SMEs, and of course, positioning and repositioning SMEs for economic development. That conversation is coming up next after the break.
Wewe unaweza filaje ukitoa majina kama hayo?
Aje sasa na mimi hata si ati mmoja wewe.
Wewe si? Malizia wewe si?
Ataifanya.
Huyo jamaa shikisia.
Labda komisha, muendelea kumpigia, eventually lazima atashika.
Relax. Itakuwa sawa. Lala itakuwa sawa.
She loved me. She said she would go to the end of the world with me, but as soon as that clown Reynaldo appeared and her father hit her, then everything changed.
I'm sorry. I'm only inviting you to live, okay? Think about it. Think it over. And just consider it carefully.
What are you doing here, peasant? When will you understand that you have no place in this ranch?
I think she went to her office. To her office. Okay, then. Okay, thanks.
Corina. You won't be able to stop thinking about me until you come back to me.
What you are saying is not true, Alonso. Least of all now that...
What? What are you gonna say?
Least of all now that I'm going to marry Senyo.
Am I a doctor or which class am I am indeed? So na nikieleza hii mahakama, wewe kwa hiyo kampuni unanitakanga na nguvu, nikakataa ndio ukakuja kuniegelea mambo ya hii madawa. Ndafanya naeleza mahakama ulao. Sema tu kweli ya, sema tu. So mpaka sasa yule nichekesha, but I don't need you. You know that. Sema kweli ndio mama.
Yeye anataka kivipi?
Ananitakanga na nguvu mheshimiwa.
Kama nini? Hapo ndio ule uingiliaji wa karani uliingia. Mimi ni karani. Officially written by the government. I am on salary.
Kawela wako mara unanimaliza Kawela unanimaliza.
Imbi
mzee.
Anakumaliza na nini?
Na wewe nakuuliza, kuna mahali nimekutipu?
Hapana.
Hakuna. Kuna mahali nilikutunga shindano?
Hapana.
Hakuna. Kuna mahali nilikuadmit?
Hapana.
Hakuna, si ndio? So what do you want from me?
Mimi hakuna kitu.
Unataka nini kutoka kwangu?
Hakuna kitu mimi nataka.
Thank you. Then walk out.
Sawa sawa.
Now, the first time I encountered rape, I was 6 years towards 7 years through my father.
And he stabbed you?
Yeah, he stabbed me on my knee, extended that knife all the way up here. And he told me, what I've done, I will do it on your neck. Wakamulikiana, wakavaa. Then of course kuna mwingine alikuwa na panga akaiguzisha kwa ukuta, then akakuja akaifanyia mic testing kwa shingo yangu. So they literally descended on me one after another.
Well, we have just concluded a very interesting concept on the future of works, the program that are at risk, and of course the programs that are going to define the future of workplaces. Time now to shift our focus now on to the small medium enterprises sector. They employ close to 80% of the country's workforce. Their contribution to Kenya's economy is immense. The most unfortunate thing is that they are at the highest risk when it comes to economic disruptions. Karine Montasa is an SME expert, is also the country operations manager for Puma and Adidas. He's joining us here so that he can give us a sneak preview of where we are and where we are going. Karim, thank you very much indeed for joining us.
Thank you for hosting me.
Yeah, very well. First of all, and help us understand, how is the environment now looking for SMEs?
Of course, Kenya is so potential for any international company now, because all international companies now, they search about pure market and potential market, especially in Africa, because Africa still needs more and more for international companies in all fields. For our field in retail fashion, we decided to came here on 2020 to open in Kenya in tough time, in middle of COVID. But we believe in the market in Kenya. So we opened Adidas and Puma store here, and after COVID and after elections, we started to follow our expansion plan. So we have 2 stores now in Kenya, and after 1 month we'll have 4, and the end of this year we'll have 6 stores. Of course, we have some challenges here in Kenya, internal and external. We have worldwide challenges, like all the business we have, and now internal for Kenya. First of all, we have is not international companies here, so we don't have well-trained human resource. So this is the issue, because if you want to hire a team for your brands, you have to train them minimum 6 months to know what is the international standard concept. So this is the international. If we have more international brands and they have more international hotels and the companies, will be better for all of us. Because now, if you believe in private sector, and because the government can't do everything. Not 100%. You have like 50% in government, 50% in private sector. So private sector can create new jobs, create new business here, and of course when they come, they pay tax, they pay salary for the staff, pay for the tax for the shipment and the product. Of course, they make training for the staff, so it will be 50-50, 50 for private sector, 50 for government. Like, for example, like Egypt and Dubai, it doesn't have do anything alone. Not government alone, not private sector, like 50-50. But like this, like the market grow as much as possible, I'm just disturbed by something that you're saying here, that we don't have very well trained job seekers in this country, and the fact that the reason why it is worrying is because more than 1 million people join every year. They join the job market in Kenya. Then when you look at the employment levels in this country, we are talking about almost 9% of the employable force. And so why do we have such a serious skill mismatch? Kenyan is so potential for the human resources, is well educated. This is important for international, is well educated. But when you apply this on the ground, this is the training and the international experience. I can't blame the Kenyan, I can't blame the human resource, but because it doesn't have any training. So I have to train you first, and after I can judge. So because of this, it's not international brands and international companies as much as we have. This is the issue, or this is the reason. But imagine if we government and the country believe so much in private business, and they attract much more investors for international and the business. I think after 5 years you have well-trained generation of Kenyan. So imagine that if you have only businesses coming, at least trained 50 person, after 5 years you have new generation well trained. So this is the reason now.
So how much are you as a company investing in retraining? Because this is another capital expenditure, that you have to incur as a company.
Sure. We are manage here two German brands, Adidas and Puma. And German community and German people is so picky for each single details about that. And especially in sportswear, you can't sell any single pair of shoes without knowledge. This is number one. Number two, the Kenyan customer is so well educated and so updated. So someone is coming to you, ask you about running shoes. So running shoes, he wants to specific advantage and benefits for these shoes. So I have to have a knowledge about this product to be able to sell it. So we invest so much about the training, about the international standard, how the customer service, how the brand knowledge and product, all the details about the product and features and advantage as benefits of this product to tell the customer about it and give him the knowledge. So this is like priority for us, especially in sportswear, especially with Adidas and Puma.
You see, you're talking about you came into the Kenyan market when the world economy was battling with a major pandemic in the name of the coronavirus. And that was a sign of confidence in the Kenyan market. You came when almost everyone was had stopped their investment, their expansion, and they were reviewing their investment and their business models. Number one, I want to hear from you. How much have you invested in the Kenyan market, and how much more do you plan to invest in the short term?
We are Egyptian company. We have already almost 15 brand in Egypt with 120 stores all over the Egypt. We have operation in Sudan, we have operation in Uganda, and 2020 we came in Kenya. We came in Kenya in the middle of COVID, as I told you, and it was a brave decision from our chairman, Mr. Adel Sharawi, chairman of RA Sport. So because we believe in Kenya and believe Kenya, it must be a hub of East Africa. So because already we have operation in Uganda on 2016, we came Kenya late for some reason, but we decided to come. So the investment is one store to open one store here. It's like almost between $400,000 for $500,000 per store, because about
the per store.
Yes, because you have a capex for fixture and the product and all the installment and the store and everything, and even the fit out of the store, everything. So we already have 2 stores now at Westgate Shopping Mall. Will open soon in June at the Hub Karen Mall. It's 2 stores also, Adidas and Puma, bigger than space for bigger than Westgate. And in September, October, we'll open 2 stores again in City Mall, Nyali City in Mombasa.
In Mombasa.
Yes.
So you're talking about, spending about 40 million Kenya shillings, or thereabout, and this, of course, is not small investment.
Sure.
What would you say are the biggest challenges when it's come to operating in the Kenyan market?
When you come in first, it's different culture, different customer behavior, even language like this. But the most challenges for when you bring shipment from outside, from the KRA processes and the system and like this. It's better now than before, but still we need to make the process faster and faster and faster, because when you receive the shipment, you need to receive it in the store as soon as possible to start your process to display it and the storage and pricing and the steaming. We have process for shipping, and after when the customer come and sell it and the customer buy it, so we make the profit and you can be able to pay your store rent, you can salary and the tax, everything. So this is a big challenge to be from KRA to be more facilitated for us and not only for our company, for all the investors and all the international brand to make facilitated more and more and more and more. They try, but sometimes it's like system struggle you, sometimes is process struggle you. So this is a big challenge for us.
So where is the challenge? Is it in the way, the custom or the taxes
just the
are
process,
structured in this country? Is it that the process is complicated or is made to be complicated by the people involved, or where precisely?
It should be faster and facilitate from the people. Even sometimes if you have maybe your document is coming from the brand because it's coming from outside, not like you want. So sometimes you have that. So just to make it the facilitate for that. And just to make it understand, we have to clear the shipment as soon as possible. So just as a process, and I think they change the system now. So I think in the future it will be better and better and better. But I think also because, like I told you, from the government and the company, if you come from top, the process until this is the direction of the country. Attract all the investors, attract all the international companies and the brand to come. So I think all employee and all the government employee will follow that. So I have like good wishes and good positive vibes from the new president. So he can handle this and he can make this facilitate more and attract more business now. And he start, but he's coming like 6 months now and still, so he have time to improve this sector from the company.
Mm-hmm. And so if you are in a position of authority or a position of influence, what would you change about the whole shipping process, the filing of taxation and the logistics that are involved?
I just make it we have the system, but maybe the system is not effort or not the capacity is as much well to all these businesses coming, because now I have a lot of international brands coming to Kenya this year. So we invest in system. We invest in the human resources to train them well, to make faster. At least we give him how important and how critical to clear the shipment and clear the product as much as they can. So like this, we can help the investors to clear the shipment, and even we make like online process, and even for the customer or even the company can follow the shipment where they clear it, where is the stop, where is the issue, where is to solve it. So I think we have to invest more in system and the training the people more.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You are from Egypt,
yes,
and Cairo to be specific. Of course, Egypt is a bigger economy. It's an economy that has been there longer than Kenya. What are some of the lessons do you think Kenyan authorities could learn from how investors are handled in Egypt?
Yeah, of course, the first one, the infrastructures. Infrastructure should be now is better in Kenya, because even the road is better, is expressway. This is make so much facilitated between the downtown and the airport and like this. So we have to care more about the infrastructure, and I think so. We have to make more meeting and more conference between the government and the investors to listen to each other. To maybe we have suggestions, maybe you have misunderstand about something. So when you make conference for this, maybe every 6 months, even once a year, so we can make more understand each other and the country. even to attract more investors, you have to be marketing, to have market Kenya about more investor and more international company to come here. And even also now we have issue about, especially about the international brands here, is no location. So I think the country, our government can invest now for the new malls and the new shopping malls in different area. So they create new spaces for the international brands, and also this is attract more and more stores to come and rent and open the new brands and create job for Kenyan.
Very well. Well, if you're just joining us, we're discussing the small, medium enterprises and, of course, the climate, the economic and business climate here in Kenya. Karim Montas is helping us navigate this topic. We just now want to go to the coast, to Kwale County, where over 300 fund managers are converging there to discuss the administration of funds, as well as how to mobilize more people into the saving space. Our reporter, Junie Carissa, is there. She's now joining us. She's about to give us an update. Junie, if you can hear me, what's the latest?
Good morning, O'Brien. We are in Kwale County today, and we are joined by the Retirement Benefits Authority, who have come here for a two-day conference. It's a conference that has been organized by King's Landing, and today they are all about investing with an impact, environmental, social, and governance investing. This is a conference that has brought together over 300 fund managers, administrators, insurance players, among other sectors in this industry. Today I'm joined by the Chief Manager Market Conduct, Ann Mugo, who is also the Director of Pension at the National Treasury. Also she's the Chief Manager Market Conduct, Ann Mugo, to just give us a brief of her presentation inside. She has talked about how RBA is eyeing the Hustler Fund savings to invest in the asset of the RBA, so that they can be able to grow their assets by 2024 by 30%. And she will tell us more about that and other areas that they are targeting, and also for the trustees who are here and fund managers, what are some of the areas of investment they can choose from so that they can grow their assets. Welcome so much, madam, and just give us a brief overview of how your sector is doing so far, and what are the areas of concerns maybe you are trying to address, particularly when it comes to Kenyans who are a bit hesitant in investing in their future.
Yeah, thank you very much. First, let me start by correcting that we have a title called Director, Market Conduct and Industry Development. So we are currently very much focused on developing the industry. And when we talk about developing the industry, we are saying, should we just have a sector that is covering the formal sector? Should we be talking of retirement benefits for Kenyans when only 25% of Kenyans are covered? We are also seeking to grow the assets in the industry. We are currently at a level of 1.58 trillion, having grown from 40 billion 20 years ago. So it's quite some tremendous growth, but it has slowed down because of the economic effect that is affecting many other sectors in the last 2 or so years, and also the COVID effect in the period 2020-2021. We are seeking to grow that to about 2.4 trillion. So we are exploring who are these other Kenyans who are not covered. And we are talking mostly about the informal sector. In Kenya, the informal sector is about 80 to 85%, depending on the statistics, of the employees, workers in Kenya, and most of them don't have any pension schemes. So when the government came up with the Hustler Fund initiative, and they require Kenyans who borrow through that fund to save 5% of what they borrow for savings, that's one of the areas we are looking at for growth and for reaching Kenyans who are not covered. We also have sector players who are introducing products that target this market, where they can save very little as 20 shillings, 50 shillings a month, and we can also be flexible, allow them to save when they have the money, and also allow them to partially withdraw what is in they have saved. Those are the kind of things that the informal sector would be looking at. They don't want to put in their money and wait for 20 years like the formal sector workers. So we are exploring those products. We are also telling our sector players, the existing ones and the incoming, to explore other areas of investment. A lot of them have put their money in government securities, government paper. Nothing wrong with that, but we are saying you need to diversify and move into other asset classes, explore the private equity, explore the Nairobi Stock Exchange equities, explore the government the infrastructure bonds, explore the ESG. Is very new. I don't think I'm aware of any scheme that is really addressing ESG, so we want to come up with a guideline on that. So we are telling them diversify your investment so that your schemes can have better returns and therefore have better funds available for Kenyans as they retire.
As we wind up, one worrying factor you have presented inside is the fact that the public sector is yet to remit their monies, and the penalties are not working, but you've worked together with the Treasury to enact a policy that maybe will save this situation. Paint us a brief picture of what the situation is looking like, and if this policy is adopted, what exactly it is going to solve in the public sector.
Yeah, thank you very much. Employers are required to remit contributions within 15 days after the end of the month, and we have a couple of public sector employers who are struggling. The reason is that maybe their funding levels have come down. If you're talking like universities, we are all aware what has happened. Universities, some of the courses they were offering are no longer able to offer, and their revenue has come down. So they are not prioritizing retirement benefits. So the policy we are seeking to get into with the government is whether we can have a way that these public sector employers are required to first fund their pension obligations and any other obligations like NHIF and NSSF and so on before they use the funds for their operations. We are hoping we shall be successful. We are engaging at policy level. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We will give you more details of this event in a subsequent bulletins, but for now, I hand it back to you, Brian Kimani, in studio from Kwale County. I'm Juni Karisa.
Well, that's our Coast correspondent, Juni Karisa, there talking about how to deepen Kenya's investment as well as saving culture. We're back in studio. Our conversation is around how to empower SMEs to become drivers of economic growth, as well as how to improve the business environment in Kenya for companies to grow. Karim Montas is the country operations manager for Puma as well as Adidas. He's joining us in this conversation. You're talking about what we need to do, to make Kenya a great investment destination. I mean, it is already is, but of course there are some challenges, and you're highlighting some of these challenges as the improvement in infrastructure. And the fact of the matter is, when you look at the level of investment in infrastructure in the last 10 years, one would say that definitely Kenya has made significant strides. But still, there is more that needs to be done. When you compare it with our peers, and our peers would be like Egypt, South Africa, Morocco, Algeria, such economies. And so apart from, infrastructure, and you have just talked about roads. Apart from roads, what else do you think Kenya needs to invest in to continue attracting more international investors?
Of course, Kenya is a interact and potential market, and it should be hub of East Africa for investment on the roads, the railway station, the airport. Because in Kenya you have only now Jomo Kenyatta and Wilson, so it's more like this. Like you said, like expressways, a bridge. It's make it so much facilitate now because we can to go for the airport in maximum 10 minutes from end of Nairobi. So like this is the tools they can make it for you, facilitate to transfer your product from point to point. This is number one. Number two, the market. You have to access to market. So now we have only the malls in Nairobi. So it doesn't have any location. When you want to bring a new business, so a new brand in Kenya, is no location to open there. So we have to create. This is more malls now and shopping center even to bring this. Even now, because we have in Egypt this the same issue. When the shopping mall doesn't have any space or just full, we start to create like destination in the street. I see now some trial from some investor in Kenya to make destination in the street, like square or station for food and beverage, fashion destination. So we have to create more and more and more for this for all area in Nairobi. Even now is a strength for the internet here is good. So yes, we have to just make it some stability in some area, but in general we can solve. And my wondering solution here is M-Pesa. M-Pesa is amazing solution. M-Pesa is amazing. This is, I'm wondering when I arrived Kenya and start to use it. It should be applied in all worldwide. I wish we can have this in Egypt. We have online payment for the application, and but something like M-Pesa is amazing. So it's help you to facilitate your business so fast, so easy, safe. It helps so much for us in retail business, because you can pay about your purchasing from anywhere and immediately on the spot. So M-Pesa, this is amazing. You have to apply in all country, even from East Africa and all Africa, yes.
Let's also talk about, apart from the innovation in terms of payment solutions, let us talk about security. And this is one issue that, every investor is really concerned about, the security of a country. As a foreign investor, do you feel secure in Kenya?
Sure, 100%. Kenya for society, this is amazing country. I can live. I'm here since 2020. My family with me here is feel safe, feel comfortable. We can go anywhere, anytime. Doesn't have any instruction to don't go here, don't go there, like this. You have to care like any country in worldwide. So you have to take care. You don't go this area in the night. You can go this not in Kenya alone, but this is all worldwide. But Kenya, totally safe. This from personal life. For investor, yes, you come here in Kenya, establish your country, your money in the bank. You can transfer in and out easily. Depends the regulation for the central bank. You can transfer in and out. I pay my shipment because I bring my shipment from Dubai, from Jabal Ali, so I can transfer to them the money. They send it to me, the shipment, so easily. No, it doesn't have any issue about this. So because of that, we now from me I have like positive word of mouth for all Egyptian and all my friends in outside Kenya to come and invest in Kenya. It's a space potential market to come and invest, because it's so easy to establish company and start your business. Yes. So Kenya is a place, such a place you can live it easily and enjoy it.
You come from an economy that is almost 4 times bigger than ours. You're from Cairo, with a population of more than 25 million people.
In Cairo?
In Cairo alone.
Yes. Egypt now more than 100 million.
Precisely.
Yes.
And in Nairobi, the population is about plus or minus 5 million people. And so, the comparative analysis here, will be amazing. But Let's talk about Nairobi first of all. When you look at the investment climate in Nairobi, would you say it is conducive for international investors?
Sure, because it's pure, and still Kenyan is so aware about the business worldwide, and they searching about even to develop the lifestyle here. So, and even when I arrived in Kenya, I'm wondering, a lot of Kenyans already go outside Kenya more than 2 times per year, for Dubai, for UK, for Canada, for US, even for North Africa. This is for the business or for the private trips. So it's still, we have more and more to bring it to Kenya, not only in retail fashion, in all fields here, because I see now all the investors, not from Egypt only, for all the countries is coming to invest here, but maybe from Egypt is more because the COMESA agreement, they make more us easy to export and import some products, like in Egypt we take from Kenya all the coffee, tea, avocado is amazing and pure, natural, organic product from Kenya. And even from Egypt, I saw here some product from steel, wood, gypsum board, textile, and some even fruits and vegetables from Egypt. Even in you will be shocked, because is TV series now in Egypt is most famous TV series, and the actors is already make it in Kenya, in Nanyuki. They already display now during the Ramadan in Egypt, and the trend, it's trend #1 now in Egypt. It was in Nanyuki. So this is, I think, this is in Kenya we need to more marketing and announce about Kenya, about the places in Kenya. Even Mombasa. Mombasa is amazing, such a place. I saw it with the ocean in Nyali, Diani, Watamu, Lamu, like this. But you're wondering, you don't have any international hotels there. So if you have, you will improve the hospitality experience there. And even you announce about this for honeymooners, for medical meditation, for tourists, for such this trips for all forest and tourists. And even community here in Kenya is so international. So it's so such place. So we have here Kenyan, Indian, Somalia, even the international for Europe, because the UN community here is so big in Kenya. Even the Kenyan is so much welcome to host all these international and different international, and they adapt so fast with them. To adapt with the community fast. This is my experience here, 3 years in Kenya, and all my friends, even if they left and they have post here or their business here, and your contract is left and ended, and he went outside Kenya for his country or another country, really first his vacation, he's coming to Kenya because he missed now. Now, even for the banking sector, we have already one of the biggest Egyptian bank is called Commercial International Bank, CIB. They already come to Kenya and make acquisition for a small bank here in Kenya and take it. So even now, for investors, they already feel safe, because even they have not only Kenyan bank or international bank. Even if you are Egyptian investors to come here, you have Egyptian bank to come. This is proof in Kenya is open for all investors to come and invest, and even the banking sector. Yes, it's helped investors so much.
And when you look at regulations around the small medium enterprises in this country, we have the SMEs Act in this country. We have the SMEs Authority, whose responsibility is to ensure, to create a conducive environment for SMEs to thrive. When you compare, the regulations around SMEs in Egypt and here in Kenya, what conclusions do you make?
I think because also like you said, now we have population now is so different. Maybe Egypt is double Kenya for population. For the percentage for SMEs is different now. So now in Egypt, no, we encourage the SMEs so much in different fields, but even also now about the local production. So this is so important for Kenya to make local production. Sometimes I have my friends here have local production and have local factory, but still we have to export and import the material and the raw material and the imports for raw material. So about the dollar inflation, about the dollar situation now, it's a challenge for them. But if you have local production and encourage the local production here in Kenya, I think it will be more SMEs will come and start up will growing so much, because when you start up business you need to be local production for this. So in Egypt we have a lot of cities now, not only in Cairo, outside Cairo, to make it the local production, and even also the cost of labor also is also cost. So maybe in Nairobi is not expensive, but outside Nairobi it's cheaper than Nairobi. This also element you can take it. But if the tax and the VAT, it's almost the same. VAT here is 16, in Egypt 14, so it's the same tax. Also is almost plus or minus, not big percentage, but still if you push for local production, you will go far about SMEs.
And I also like the fact that you're talking about production of locally made products here in Kenya, and this is coming at a time when the debate is raging on how to increase the production of more products for the international markets. When you look at Kenya, and I like the fact that you were talking about we are a big producer of agricultural products as well as horticulture. Which area do you believe remains untapped for SMEs, where they can tap and of course increase their export to the international market?
I think we have to make cooperate all together. So Kenyan folks with the government, with the investors, we can make cooperate, and also so can make more and close cooperation to make the COMESA is more active more than that, because it will be easier for all investors, international and local. So international, we have a lot of local brands and local production in Egypt. They want to come here, but maybe doesn't have any idea about Kenyan market, how to come. You have to announce more than and make conference to attract all these investors to come here, and even to make it announce about what is the benefits for COMESA for the local investor here in Kenya, to bring raw material from there and use the COMESA, and even with economic worldwide dollar inflation like this, it will be more useful for them, because at least you will not have to pay duty for if you use a COMESA. It will be duty free. So I think we have to exchange government conference, government meetings to make more effective for that, especially the COMESA one I see here. And I think it's every 3 months, 6 months we have expo here in Kenya, in different, for one time for construction, one time for education, for some time for another field. So I see a lot of Egyptian companies come in Kenya to participate in this expo, to offer our product, to offer the items we have in production, and they success really, and they have interesting here to make a deals. So we have to make more and more on this.
Before I let you go, Karim, tell me, I mean, you've been in this country now as Adidas and Puma for less than 4 years. You came here in 2020. During the COVID-19 pandemic. Now you're talking about opening about 6 stores by the close of this year.
End of this year, yeah.
End of this year. What is driving this growth?
The company is an Egyptian company. Is here and is, like I told you, it's called RA Sport. RA Sport is a global company, 15 brand in Egypt, more than 120 stores all over the Egypt, Sudan operation, Uganda operation, here Kenya now operation. I present the company here. I have all my team is Kenyan in the store, and even the older department like finance, HR, logistic, all the department is a Kenyan. Really, we make success here. Story during the COVID, we opened first store Adidas November 2020. Our feedback and impression about the opening, it was over expectation. The Kenyan market welcomed us so much, even after we opened Puma. So because of this, from day one, we opened first store. We are right to come here. Our chairman, Mr. Adel Sharawi, it was brave to open in this. And we adapt in the market so fast. I'm Kenyan now, and I spend all the COVID here, the curfew after presidential elections. So we invest here, and even if we expansion more outside Kenya, like Rwanda and Tanzania, and we go, but we operate the business from Kenya, because Kenya, for the location, for the business, it's 1 hour by flight for everywhere now. And here the infrastructure for business is more developed in the country around Kenya now, so we operate the Kenya from here.
Very good.
So
and you believe that
yes.
the future prospects are bright?
Yes, of course you have. And I even proud to be here and cooperate with my team here in Kenya.
Very good. Karim Montasa, thank you very much for joining us on BizCheck, and of course for spending your time with us here.
Asante sana.
Karibu sana. Thank you. Karim Montasa is the country operations manager for Puma and Adidas, joining us here to explain to us how we can drive the growth of SMEs in the country for economic development. You have been watching BizCheck. We've been live since about 10 past 10. Now it's coming to 12 o'clock. And you know what? Tamrini is up next with Gladys Mongai. And thereafter, at 1 o'clock, we shall be having our lunchtime bulletin. Thank you for joining us. For more information, you can always log on to our website, www.kbc.co.ke. And of course, you can follow me on my Twitter page, which is @O'Brien Kimani and @KBC Channel 1. Thank you for your time. Have a good afternoon.
Wewe unaweza filaje ukitoa majina kama hayo?
Aje sasa, na mimi hata si ati mmoja
wewe si? Malizia wewe si?
Ataifanya.
Huyo jamaa shikisia.
Labda commission, muendelea kumpigia, eventually lazima atashika.
Relax. Itakuwa sawa. Lolo itakuwa sawa.
Ya Allah, Abdullah telefoni.
What's up, people? My name is DJ Tabs, the head girl, your #1 female gospel DJ. You can catch me every Saturday from 11:30 a.m. to 1 p.m. as I bring you the best of the best in gospel music. The show is The Backyard Live. Unapenda local, nitakuchezea. Unapenda African, nitakuchezea. Unapenda reggae, buo, mimi ndio plug wako. Catch me, remember, with Jay Fontana every Saturday at 11:30 a.m. to 1 p.m. Tutakuwa na even your favorite gospel artist. Kumbuka kuokoka, sio kuboeka. #The Backyard Live.